Hi everybody, video 2 of my depression and how it affects you and myself and others. Hope like the first one, hopefully you learned a little thing, something from it. I certainly did. So today I would like to talk to you about how depression is seen by other people, but mainly by people who you work with. Now, I have, in the time that I've suffered this illness, come across many situations at work where people have said, "Hey Mac, you're not looking too good today, are you okay?" And I was sort of like, yeah, I'm okay, I'm a bit down, a bit fed up. And it's like the response is normally, "Oh well, keep your chin up, you'll be okay, give us a shout if there's anything I can do," which is great. But actually admitting that you're unwell to colleagues is probably one of the hardest things to do, compared to talking to your family or friends. I think it compares about the same, because work is where you live most of your life. I mean, let's face it, from the age of 0 to 16 you're at school, or 18 as it is now, and you might go on to further education, and then from there you go out into the working world. And you're out in the working world until you're 70, 75, 65, quite old, so most of your life you're spent in a working place doing a job. And over the years, because of my illness and other reasons, I've done loads of jobs, and in nearly every one of those jobs I've come across difficult situations because of my depression. One of the hardest things that I've found is if I need to take a day off work because I'm really not up to going in, and it's just ringing in and saying, "Look, I'm really sorry, I'm not very well, won't be in today," and that's fine. Of course, the problem is then that the next day the anxiety strikes, and you think, "You know what? I really don't want to go in. What will they say? Will they be cross with me? I'm going to get sacked." And it's only one day, but to someone suffering depressive illness, it's like you've been off for months. And then, of course, that day turns into another day, it turns into a week, turns into a month, and before you know it, you've lost your job or you've left your job because you just can't cope. So talking to employers is very, very difficult. So for any employers out there, I'd just like to say that, sometimes the way that you deal with someone who's not well mentally can make a big difference to whether they come back to work or not. Now, I know it's difficult, especially if you don't understand. You're trying to run a business, your business tries to make money, so you've got targets to hit. I understand all that, of course we do. That's what we're there working for, and for us to get a pay packet at the end of the month and pay all our bills and carry on with our life as normal. I'll give you an example. One of the jobs I was at recently last year, I ended up going off sick for a reasonable amount of time, and after a couple of months I had a phone call to do an assessment on the phone, and the first question they asked me was, "Are you really depressed?" Well, let me think about that. I've been down at the doctor's, I've got a doctor's note, I've been off work for 7 odd weeks, and you're asking me if I'm really depressed. My question is that like the best way to deal with it? Because if I said to my boss, "Hey look, I've fallen down the stairs, I've broken my leg, I won't be in for 3 months," they're not going to ring you up a week later or 6 weeks later and say, "Hey Mac, have you really broken your leg?" Because they can see the damage that you've done, which goes back to the unseen illness, which is one of the worst parts of depression. You can't see anything. So maybe there's some scope for employers to find a better way to say to their employee who's suffering, "Look, we understand you're not well, we need to run our business, is there anything we can do to help you?" And just maybe ease them in 1 or 2 days a week. Because at the end of the day, the way I see it, it would be better to keep that employee than have to go around searching for someone else. Because if that employee's been there a while and they know what they're doing, then surely it's better to keep them on the payroll and look after them until they're better, than to go out and do interviews and find the right person and train that person. So there must be a way that around this that employers can look at. It's just something I wanted to put across today, really. The other thing I want to talk to you about today really is friends and family, and the way that they have to try and deal with people who are suffering. Now, I've got to admit, and it's probably pretty obvious really doing this, I'm not ashamed of my illness. I'm not ashamed that I am ill, and I never will be. And anybody that can't accept that, the fact that I'm ill and I'm not very well at the moment, well, that's your problem, not mine. I must admit I've got very loving, caring friends and people close to me that don't see it like that. So I'm very lucky, but there are people out there that do. And as far as I'm concerned, you'll accept me for who I am, with my depression or without my depression, or don't bother. I'm not bothered either way. So one of the things I wanted to talk about really today was I remember when I was ill 10, 12 years ago, and I had some really good friends I used to go drinking with, some I used to work with, some I used to go around their house, I used to come around mine, we used to have meals together, and they were what I would call good mates. And when I got ill, when I was having a bad time with depression, my good mates turned into not such good mates. And although at the time I didn't really see it, now I understand, because they didn't understand it and couldn't relate to it, and that's why they did what they did, which was totally avoid me. There's nothing worse for someone who's suffering depression to be walking down the street, see a really good friend of theirs, put your hand up and say hi, and they just cross the road and go the other way. Personally, I'd rather you come and say the wrong thing than say nothing, because to say nothing sort of says to me, you don't care. So think about that. So I'm going to do another poem for you today, and the poem is called My Depression, and it's just a poem about I don't want people to be sympathetic so much, and I don't always expect them to understand. All I really want is a little bit of a help, and don't avoid me. Come and talk to me. I'm not some horrendous monster. I'm just suffering with an illness that I have no control over, and it's pretty scary. And to have some really good friends around that you can call on and say, look, I'm in a really bad time at the moment, can you give me 10 minutes? And for them to be there and say, yeah, I'll give you 10 minutes, I'll give you an hour. That's more help than you can really imagine. So the poem I've got today for you is called My Depression, and I hope you like it. I do not want your sympathy, nor do I need you to understand. All I ask is for a little empathy when depression takes my hand. Do not cross the road to avoid my path, or whisper so that I may not hear. They only want a chat and a laugh, my friendship to still be held dear. The illness which lies deep within my mind cannot be seen by you or anyone, but take the time to talk. Do not be blind. Do not be scared of me, please. Do not run. I do not want to lose my family, my friends, just because of my mental health. The deep dark hole into which I descend cannot be cured by luxury or wealth. So next time you see me, please say hi. It may not be as scary as you might think. I promise you I will not lie, and all I need is a friend so that I may not sink. All I need is a friend. Yeah, all we need, all anybody needs that's suffering is a friend. A close friend, a family member. Just to say, I understand. Well, if you don't understand, that's fine. Say, I don't understand, but I can talk to you. Talk to me. Ring me. Say hi. Hey, Mac, how you doing today? I know you're not well, but, let's have a chat. It takes an hour out of your day, out of 1 week, to say, hey, how you doing? You okay? Say the wrong thing. That's fine. I understand. It's going to happen. But I'd rather that than you say nothing to me. And don't cross the road to avoid me. Talk to me. Yeah, I'm a human being at the end of the day. Anyway, I hope that helps you in some way. Have a good day. See you soon.